All right, so have you ever stared at those professor ratings online and just felt completely lost?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
are these numbers actually going to tell me anything useful?
Yeah,
I mean, it's such a big decision. I feel like it could make or break the whole semester, right?
it really could.
Especially, when you're trying to figure out, like, okay, is this professor's teaching style going to actually work for me?
Yeah.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into this whole world of professor ratings.
Right.
We've got some really interesting excerpts from an article that I think are going to help us kind of navigate this whole thing.
Sounds good.
Because I'll be honest, I need help with this. So hopefully this helps you all out there too.
Yeah, I think we all could use a little guidance when it comes to deciphering these ratings.
Mm.
Like, they can be a starting point, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes they're just so confusing.
Yeah, for sure. And, this article actually says something really interesting.
Okay.
It really stresses the importance of not just looking at the overall score, like the number,
Right.
but it's the written comments where you often find like the real valuable stuff.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Would you say that that's true?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Those comments are where you get the actual details and the nuance that you just don't get from like a 4 out of 5 stars.
Right.
The article gives a great example. It talks about a comment like weekly quizzes.
Okay.
Right there, that's giving you concrete information about the professor's teaching style.
Yeah, that's objective.
Right, you know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
Whereas a comment like boring lecturer, I mean, what does that even tell you?
Right. Like, what does that even mean?
Someone's boring could be another person's engaging.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe I like a boring lecture.
Right, maybe you learn best that way.
Right, exactly.
And that actually highlights like a really key point here. Different teaching styles resonate with different learning styles, right?
Mm.
Someone who loves hands-on activities might not do so well with a professor who mainly lectures, or a visual learner might struggle in a class that's heavy on just listening?
Yeah.
So it's not just about finding like the best professor overall.
Hmm.
It's about finding the best professor for you, for your individual learning style.
Yes, and like, how do we even figure that out?
Right.
How do we sift through all those reviews?
Well, it takes some critical thinking, and the article actually talks about this idea of reading between the lines, which I think is so important.
Okay, yeah.
You have to consider, like, the reviewer's perspective, right?
Hmm.
And any potential biases they might have.
Right.
For example, let's say a review complains about, like, too much group work.
Yeah.
Well, is that actually a bad thing for you? Maybe you love collaborating. Maybe
Yeah.
you hate it?
Yeah.
That one single comment can make all the difference in how you interpret the entire review.
That's a really good point because I feel like sometimes when I'm reading those, I just kind of like gravitate towards the negative.
Right.
And then I'm like, wait, maybe this is actually a great professor and I'm just
And you're missing out.
missing out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is all about balance, though.
Yeah.
You got to find that balance.
Right.
The article also talks about the importance of being constructive in reviews,
Okay.
including both pros and cons, paints a much more complete and honest picture.
Yes.
And on that note, we often forget that professors actually read these reviews too.
Oh, that's true.
Right. So thoughtful feedback can really help them improve their courses
Yeah.
and their teaching methods.
Like it's almost like a feedback loop, right?
Exactly.
Like the students are getting insights from the reviews and the professors are getting insights from the students.
Exactly. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to be specific and objective and fair in those reviews.
Right. Yeah.
And not just ranting or raving.
Yeah. And going back to what we were saying before about critical thinking, I think that's so key here. Like you can't just take any single review. It's like the absolute truth.
Exactly. You've got to look at multiple perspectives, consider your own learning style, and really just weigh the information that's most relevant to you.
Yeah.
Like, what are your priorities? What
Exactly.
matters most to you in a class?
Yeah. Yeah. Because what matters most to me might not matter to someone else.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Okay. So I think the big takeaway here is that professor ratings can be a helpful tool,
They can be. Yeah.
but it's up to us to use them wisely.
It really is.
And part of that is like really diving into those written reviews,
Yeah.
thinking critically,
Absolutely.
and just trying to find the professor who's like the best fit for your own academic journey.
Your own personal learning journey. That's
Yeah.
right.
And if you're thinking about becoming a professor yourself, then head over to academicjobs.com for some great tips and job opportunities in higher education.
Absolutely. It's a great resource.
All right, thanks for diving into this with me.
Of course, this was
I
fun.
feel like I learned a lot.
Me too. Me too.
All right, see you next time.
See ya.